Ming.
There you go, sir.
Um, there we go. Okay, it looks like we're live. And
Okay.
all right. Okay, welcome everybody to episode 2 of the Full Grown Pizza Podcast. This episode, we're going to be going into the simulation theory. Mike's going to be handling that, and then we will take it away from there. So, all right, what do you got to tell us about the simulation theory?
All right. So the theory behind the simulation theory is that the way that technology goes, eventually someone's going to be smart enough and technology savvy enough to create a simulation that will be indiscernible from real life. Right.
Like the
So it's going to keep
ultimate
going on every.
MMORPG.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're
Like
never going to be
so
able to.
many enemies.
Like World of Warcraft 7. Yeah.
But if you keep looking
No, the way they're going,
technology-
probably Warcraft 3.
Oh, yeah,
World of
yeah,
Warcraft.
you're probably right, mate. Yeah.
away,
Okay. Anyways.
All right.
but so eventually it's going to be so sophisticated that you'll never be able to tell you're actually in the simulation. And so this could happen. This could have happened already in the future, and we're just living this simulation now, and we would never know because we're inside the simulation, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So, like when you're in a simulation, you can't tell any difference in time. So time is relative to what you are in.
Yeah.
So somebody could be watching us right now in a simulation or at the control room of the simulation, and we never know it.
Well, it could be like a Matrix things too. Like we're all in VR headsets and we're all in our little pods.
It's also called the
and...
Matrix theory. So
I guess you could do it like that, but then you'd have to have cloning and stuff like that, and
well, because like
gestation and all that stuff. But
we
I
are.
think it's more like a big, entirely over-encompassing simulation for the entire universe. So they're simulating the entire universe, and like the Big Bang is actually them turning the machine on, right?
Right.
Because you get something from nothing. And they said it was like Big Bang was like the size of a small like planet or something, and it blew up into everything in the universe, including multiple dimensions. If they said it was infinite dimensions, that's one thing that seems weird about how our universe is, you know.
I think there's definitely a lot of there's so many similarities with like how games are created and games are designed with how the universe functions. And yeah, you could say like, well, yeah, because we designed the engines to function to be able to create things like our own reality, sure. But I just feel like the universe kind of there's so much design oriented stuff in it. Like it feels like it, it seems like something was engineered, like there's a programmer or something.
Yeah, it's like there's a definite sense of somebody controlling everything. There's rules like physics rules, you've got gravity and the way light works and everything like that. And there's definite rules that you have to follow, or else you can't really break the rules. It's simulation, so
yeah.
Like nobody can live forever, stuff like that. Anyway,
yeah.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
So if you take that a little bit farther, so you have someone who can create a simulation that's indiscernible from real life. Why would they just create one simulation? They would create multiple simulations. So let's say they want to find the perfect timeline so maybe it's a future us. We destroyed our Earth. So they create a bunch of simulations, and they run them side by side and say, let them do their thing on Earth, and let's see how they can do it so it's perfect, so they don't destroy it. Maybe we'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And they could do this in fast time, and we wouldn't be able to tell any difference with it because it'd be the same normal time for us. Right. That's why I think like multi-dimensions is like a giveaway that we may be in a simulation theory. So if you got to think about it, you have multiple dimensions. So they say like every decision you make creates a new dimension, right? There's infinite dimensions.
Right.
And basically the only way to really keep track of that would be like having AI around that, unless you're like super God theory, like intelligence.
Sure.
The only way to keep track of all those dimensions, because you got billions of people on the Earth, animals, Pretty much any organism does a decision, there's a new dimension being created.
Yeah.
How would you keep track of that?
Well, I mean, man,
I mean,
you would have to
AI
have
seems
some
like the only way
system.
that we'd be able to do that.
Well, yeah, because if you got, yeah, I mean that's nuts because you've got you've got billions of people making decisions every day. They could have theoretically made any other different decision, and that's an infinite number of decisions
Exactly.
times infinite number of decisions because there's also all the people making the decisions.
Times
So
all
yeah,
history.
times all of the time, yeah, and it's continually growing and getting bigger as there's more people in.
And that's another thing that something about nature is that it doesn't like to waste resources.
Yeah.
It tries to create the most efficient organism or uh, handle things the most efficiently the way they can. So why would it create multiple dimensions at the same time it created one dimension? Does that seem like a
Yeah.
waste of like resources to you?
I mean, well, you got to do something with them, or at least they need to provide some sort of value or something. And if the universe is all just a simulation, then who is it a simulation for? Why was it created, and what is it
Yeah, it
being
doesn't even have to say we have to
used
be
for?
humans. It could be another alien race that's
Sure.
just created the universe and they got multiple planets they're watching.
Yeah.
And they're trying to see the perfect species or something. The perfect timeline. Who knows what they're trying to find out, but it's got a lot of interesting thought.
There's a thing I'm trying to remember what it's called, and I'm trying to look it up, but I can't remember what it's called. It's something that's in it's something in video games that when you're creating a game, essentially what you want to do to optimize the game is you don't have the whole world active at the same exact time. You only have things that are active that the player can actually see based on
Yeah.
their settings and stuff. So everything else is essentially turned off, right? But then once the camera, so think of a character going down a corridor, like once they turn the corner, all that stuff essentially turns on. But once you go back around the corner, all the stuff that you could no longer see essentially turns off. So
It's like
they,
generating it as it
yeah,
goes
they
along.
actually did a like quantum. Let's see, I really wish I could remember the term for that. It's like something occlusion or yeah, I can't remember. But anyways, they did a study where they actually it had to do with like particles and stuff. Like the way that particles react to things, um, they only react in certain ways based on if an observer is present.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's the
another thing. It's
crazy.
like
Yeah,
that's kind of
it's
like if you create memory in like a program, you say,
yeah,
this is this thing, but until I tell this memory that it's like a string, it's just memory.
yeah,
But if I
exactly.
tell it's a string, it's always a string.
It like
Just like
goes
you do
back
with the
to that.
particle.
Yeah, it goes back to kind of that saying of like, oh, if a tree falls down in the forest and no one's there to hear it, did it actually fall? And it's like, no, actually not. No, it didn't actually. It like doesn't act like not until you, yeah, maybe observer effect. Let me see here. We'll go back
Server
see
effects. Yeah.
what. Yeah, but it's crazy, dude. Like I saw that and I was like, what in the hell? Like that tells me that the universe is basically a video game. Like it's
Yeah.
basically an MMORPG because there's no just based on regular like physics and what we know about the universe, there's no reason that something shouldn't exist just because we're not, there's no observer, there's no one there to watch it or see it. Like it blows my mind unless it is a simulation and you are trying to conserve resources and energy and or even if you just want to leave clues that hey, it is a simulation. So that thing blew my mind. I mean I
Like
haven't.
that spooky movement at a distance, tangled particles. Like you have one somewhere and it's connected to another one. If you move one, it moves the other one way, and they
Oh
don't have no
yeah,
way.
yeah. That too. Yeah.
That seems like a simulation too, because
Right.
how are they connected? There's no way they're.
Like that's how programmers do things to make things easier, you know? Like
Yeah, you point to it. You say
yeah,
this is connected to
say
this,
this
but
particle's
there's
connected to
nothing
that,
physically or electronically connecting those two, but they
but
are
they still
connected.
interact with each other. Yeah, it's so crazy, dude. Like
I mean, how can you do that without some kind of all encompassing?
I don't know what other worldview outside of like a God hypothesis that and the simulation theory. Like I don't know what other worldviews could explain something like that. It just doesn't make like I don't know how you could take any non-simulation theory worldview of the universe and explain the Big Bang, the creation of the
Mhm.
universe, explain the observer
Multiple
effect,
dimensions,
explain multiple dimensions, explain the
spooky movement at a distance,
yep,
just
movement at the
tangled
and then you've got the
particles.
problem. You've got the problem of the second law of thermodynamics, which is like any enclosed system that continues to run, I guess, gains entropy and ultimately will essentially
Destroy
cease
itself.
to work. Yeah, destroy itself. But we don't see that taking place. And if the universe was eternal, then how could that possibly? It would definitely have taken place.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot going for the simulation theory, in my opinion.
yeah, there is. Like they say, deja vu is also like a sense of a glitch in the matrix, like something you've
Oh,
been through
I've
this
heard that
before,
too.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Well, oh, dude, it makes me think of. Have you guys seen the anime Steins Gate?
yeah,
Okay, so the main character, for anybody who hasn't, is essentially this college student dude, but he's got like this mad scientist persona, and it's kind of a funny, charming, show in the beginning. But then what they are trying to do is make this time machine kind of thing, and essentially they end up making a time machine where they can um, send text messages into the past and stuff, and so they change things. But the crazy thing is the main character, he can actually remember things across the timelines. And so yeah, it just makes me think of that where we have all these different timelines that are all running at the same time. Like think of like a branching out tree, they're all running out at the same time. Different decisions are making these new branches and whatnot. But then there's still the core consciousness of the person that kind of that's the one thing that is consistent, that remains consistent across all these different timelines, because all the
uh,
circumstances and all the different things have changed, but the people are still the same people, and they still have their own consciousness. And if you believe that your consciousness is not entirely reliant on your brain, then it is a metaphysical thing. Then it would be, that's truly the only thing that is remained consistent across them. So it would make sense that across the timelines, in certain instances, your consciousness would, remember something else that you had done.
yeah. So you get that sense of deja vu from it.
Yeah. And
Or they say that maybe someone who's similar to you in another part of the simulation in another dimension has done the same thing, and you're sensing the same thing because you're basically the same kind of programming code.
yeah.
You have like the same source code.
Or maybe it's just lag. You're lagging from a
Maybe it is
different
just
dimension.
lag,
Oh, yeah.
or
You
maybe
did
they're
it in
right,
a different
like
dimension and then you lagged over.
Right.
or maybe it's been procedurally generated, but you're running behind, so you're actually ahead of the procedure, so you're seeing everything before it actually happens, and you're like, oh yeah, I've been through here before, but
Yeah,
you haven't
yeah.
actually been through, but still being generated. So
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a crazy thought too, because yeah, what if your sorry, yeah, what if your consciousness was like, you know, in time with the thing, but then the rest of you, but everything was lagging, and then you get caught up and you're like, yeah, I've done this before, but wait, apparently I haven't. It's like rubber banding in a video game when you
yeah,
when you're going
rubber
around in the
banding.
world and you're like, okay, I'm gonna kill this thing, and then all of a sudden, like you teleport back
That
like
was
20 meters and you're like, okay, I guess I'm back in the town instead of, halfway down the road. But yeah, man, I think that stuff's cool. If okay, and it also makes me think of virtual reality. Like I'm huge. I don't play virtual reality much, but I'm super into the whole technology and everything of it, virtual
yeah.
reality. And it just, yeah, it makes me think like we currently have the ability to essentially create our own realities, and really our imagination is the limit. So if we've already proven that realities can be created and we can enter them, we proved that with video games, but now we have a way of actually, in a sense, physically entering these realities, because we can put on a headset and we can interact with things with our hands. Like we have the capability now where you can digitally, physically interact with objects in a virtual world that was created by another person, by an intelligent mind. Like that's crazy. So we've already proven that this kind of thing can happen. Now if you just have enough
Yeah.
computing power and you are smart enough and have thought through everything, or maybe the engine you're working with, the game engine, has already
Maybe AI
figured out all the
created it.
physics. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
this is the first generation of AI, and maybe
Oh,
100 generations down the road, it just creates a new
yeah. Well,
simulation
okay.
that we controls everything.
What if there's like an AI machine that is creating other AIs, and this is like the birthing process of a new AI that is now controlling over this universe? You know what I mean? Like it's developing and growing and changing things, and dude, that would be crazy. That would be
We're crazy.
nuts. Yeah. Well, not only that, but also Elon Musk, I think, is a fan of the simulation theory, and I feel like, he's one of the smartest people around. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Hey,
another
Tarek, have you
point
seen if you
for.
find any like glitches in the Matrix video? See if you can. Have you seen that one picture of the airplane that like hit? They said there was a UFO over the airport earlier, but then they said that it ran into something that nobody could see, and it got a big old dent in it. And I don't think you can find that, but that
I
was
don't
supposed
know
to be
how
a
much
glitch
we
in the
can
Matrix.
show.
Can we show those YouTube clips of like
You
cars
show
like
at least like
cars like come sorry, cars coming into
I've seen
existence
those
out of
where the
nothing?
cars like hit nothing, and or you see like they suddenly get really heavy or for some reason, like something jumps on
Yeah,
top of it,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. Or like, there's a car who's like making a right turn or whatever, or a left turn, and then the other car's about to go, and then all of a sudden there's a car like going
yeah,
straight. Like, yeah, those things, those are crazy too. Like, and that's the in those video clips, like I genuinely, unless they're faked, I don't know how that gets explained because like it doesn't make any sense. And but to be fair, if you were the driver of that car that just all of a sudden like popped into existence and was going through this intersection, do you think that they were from a different like timeline and they actually were going through that intersection, but then something happened that now shifted them
could
into
be
another
areas of
timeline?
merging of dimensions and
I'm Dude,
merging of
and this is B.
simulations.
Save hundreds with Liberty Bibbity.
Save hundreds with Liberty Bibbity.
Shut up.
We're not sponsored by Liberty Bibbity or Liberty Mutual. um, but yeah, like that would be a kind of a crazy experience. Like, hold on, I'm having some internet issues. It looks like we're still live. Yeah, that was weird. My OBS said that
entity's
I got disconnected
malfunctioning.
for like 2 seconds, and then yeah, for real.
Is that a malfunctioning NPC?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh, cat's
Look at the
malfunctioning.
cat. Look at that. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
That's on the street.
He's like moonwalking on the. Then he went back to doing it.
Like he likes it.
What
Like,
the heck?
cool.
He's like, oh
Look at
man,
me.
look how awesome I am. Oh, come on.
That's just a
Dude.
picture.
Okay, what's weird about this? 706.
That
Oh, okay. What the? Dude, I would say your house is haunted at that point. I'd just get out.
Yeah.
Sissy Lump.
Yep, that's Zuckerberg metaverse thing. Oh yeah, I saw this video. And she's just gone. The lady's gone. Did you see that?
What? Oh, I
Lady
didn't
Lady in
behind
the
her.
back, lady in the back, lady in the back.
Well, I was looking at Scarlett Johansson's
Yeah,
talents.
kind of
Yes.
distracting.
I know, like-
Yeah, where'd she go?
If I hadn't
that's
already
crazy.
seen the video, we'd be watching this a few times.
Was the guy
Yeah.
disappeared? Oh, the guy doesn't
Yeah.
disappear. That's crazy.
It's like, what are her boobs gonna do? What?
Yeah, because she was doing a late night interview with somebody and was like, what? Who is that person? Where'd they go? And she was like, oh, that's my mom. I don't know where she went.
That's just chemistry there.
Yeah, that's chemistry. That's not. And that's
That's
not
just
weird
water.
either. That's just water.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right.
It's weird,
I think we can stop the video. But
But another
Crap.
interesting thing is that I was going to say that so if you wanted to interact with the simulation, you would do it by maybe if you were an alien or another species, would you do it through like sending alien simulations through the simulation, like UFOs? Because it seems like UFOs, they always seem to follow like a timeline. Like if you look in the older things, older UFOs look like chariots or big
Yeah.
chariots that have fire coming out of them or something like that. But if you look at the newer ones, the UFOs like in the 50s, they're kind of janky looking, kind of.
yeah.
But the newer ones, like they have like a Tic Tac UFO is just a big capsule that has its own. So they seem like they get more advanced as people.
What that
get
makes
more
me think
advanced.
of is in MMOs, they don't do this anymore, I don't think, but or at least not with World of Warcraft. But back in the day, they used to have what they called game masters.
Yeah,
and
it's like a game master coming in. And it's like,
yeah, it's like
checking everything
employees at the business that were like logged in and actively playing the game, but they were, connected
They're also
to the
checking stats
company.
and seeing what everybody
Yeah,
was
and so
doing.
people could go to them and report issues, and they could also, they were checking on stuff, making sure people weren't cheating or glitching
Yeah.
things.
They do that in the game I'm playing.
Yeah.
They show up as birds.
And so that would totally make sense because you've got somebody that has entered the simulation that is connected to the outside world that is able to monitor things and check on things. And
that's why they have like strange power, like being able to teleport people and putting people to sleep and
yeah, and
you
like
know.
changing memories and like, erasing
Changing
memories
time.
and stuff. Yeah.
time
Then you
lock.
have that weirdo who just has to do butt stuff.
Yeah. They're like, "Ugh, I guess it's not technically
You didn't
against
send
power
Tom again, did
service."
you? Damn it! Send Tom. Don't leave their butts alone.
Yeah. They're like, oh my God. All right.
Tom was
Fire
bad,
that
you know?
employee. Yep, fire that employee.
The whole
Yeah, the
70s is
weirdo.
ruined
He
because of
like
him.
his sex life is not so great out in the real world, so he like interacts with all the AI, which is us. Oh man, yeah, but
There's a lot of evidence that, but it's really hard to prove it because
yeah, I mean
you
that's
can't
the
just
thing
go-
is you've got all these different pieces and they're all kind of just floating up in the air, and then you can link them together, but there's nothing,
not like you can
intrinsically
step
that
out of the
links them
simulation and say,
together.
"Oh, there it is! It's a big machine. Look at it. It's cool."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. It's not like we can log off and just say, "Yep, we're playing a game." Yeah. But no, I like
What is
that.
it?
I like that whole theory, and then even just the philosophy of like thinking of life as a game. Like I think that's cool too.
I mean, if you think about it, your brain is sitting in a ball of fluid right now. Everything that we see is all electrical signals.
Yeah.
So how hard would it be to, hijack those electrical signals and send whatever you want to that? So we could all just be, like you said, like in the Matrix, just be brains in jars and thinking you're doing your own thing.
Yep.
What if like the simulation is that everybody has their own simulation? So that's why you're the main character right here in your simulation, and Tori's the main character in his simulation, and Tyson's the main character in his simulation, but they all merge.
Yeah.
So you see other people's simulations, kind of like a VR.
I
Yeah,
am the main
that's crazy.
character.
No, I'm the
Oh,
main
I'm
character.
sorry.
No, just kidding.
I'm the main character. No, you're not. Tyson, shut up. I'm the main character.
That's an interesting.
I need to
Look
go
on that
color my
too.
hair, highlight in like crazy colors, so I stand out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's also kind of like the crazy thing too, is that technically no one is the main character, because if everything, the way I envision it is, yeah, it's all like AI generated essentially, right? And so you've got this AI that created the universe, and it's like, managing everything. So at that point, we're not really playing like an MMORPG. Like each one of us individually is playing an MMORPG, but the world itself is not an MMORPG. It's more like a colony management simulator.
How do I start over? My stats suck.
Yeah, I know. It's like those games where you've got your.
I picked the wrong class.
Yeah. Well, that's why, because it's not an actual MMORPG. It's a freaking colony sim.
It's
Colony
survival
management
sim.
game. Yeah, where you've got. Think of like, you start out on your little plot of land and you've got your little cavemen, and then they advance through the technology, and you've got like, that's one of those
I
games.
hate base builder games. This is the worst.
It's one of those games, except every character has its has its own AI, and it's just like doing its thing. And yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw a game last night. I think that you like.
Me?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
You ever heard of Pacific Drive?
Oh my god, yes, I have.
Oh, I've
I
seen
do.
videos of that.
Do think that looks fun. That looks like
I just saw the before you buy last night. It looks like I'm like Tyson would love to.
yeah. I've been watching a YouTuber play that game a little bit, and yeah, it looks good. It looks fun. I like those games just where
I
you
think
go
I
out
like
and
it because it
explore
reminds me so much of like Sea of Thieves, except for like a little bit of base builder.
yeah, there's
It's like
like a
if
little bit of management stuff.
you did the
crafting
base
Yeah,
stuff.
builder on
yeah.
your car or your ship.
See if these is coming
Yeah.
to PlayStation.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see
That's
that.
crazy.
That's cool. It'll all be
A bunch of
cross-platform.
Xbox games are coming to PlayStation.
Yes. They want
Yeah.
more money.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I did see a post. I did see like I can't remember
It's
the
the
dude
same thing
who-
with Heroes of the Storm coming.
Yeah, I can't remember the dude who like runs Xbox or whatever. It's like Phil something or whatever. But yeah, I saw a
Bill
post from
Spencer.
I saw a post from him, and he was like, "Why wouldn't we make our Xbox games available to PlayStation? Like it makes
Nobody buys the
no
consoles.
sense." Yeah, I know people are like,
Yes.
"Nobody buys the consoles," and then he's like,
Yes.
"They're like, yeah, but
They like-
nobody's buying the consoles anyways nowadays."
They
Like,
lost
you know?
money when they released the Xbox. They
Yeah.
lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get into the console war.
Right, but people
I mean,
just
why
aren't
would you
really
buy an
buying it.
Xbox?
I don't know why
If you
would
can play
buy
it
an
on your
Xbox
PC
nowadays.
and it looks better and it plays better, then why would you buy an Xbox?
And
Xbox
to go
I can
along
only
with
think
that, I
is
don't know why you'd
it's
buy a
a good
PlayStation,
TV.
except for the
I
exclusives.
mean, you can't,
but
you
even
can't play
then,
most of the PC games with PlayStation on PC, but you can play most of the Xbox games on PC.
it's an interesting thing to think about, because I think they're both right in a sense. I think Xbox and PlayStation are right, because Xbox is saying, well, we're going to get more game sales by having it on
There's only a
multiple
matter of time
platforms.
before the simulation went into games, guys.
Well, okay.
We always do games. What do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so that's true, but then you also have the PlayStation, who has, in my opinion, they've had more exclusives on their platform, and they probably have had better exclusives. So now they have they have a whole catalog that they've built up over the years of like really good exclusive games. So they're a little bit more incentivized to still keep going with the consoles, because there's more reason to buy a PlayStation than there is an Xbox. That's my opinion. So it makes more sense for Xbox to sell all their games on PlayStation, but not as much for PlayStation to do the same thing. Even though I think it'd probably just be
Do you think
best.
the consoles are going to go away?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just getting, computers are
I mean,
always
people get
going
more
to
interconnected with computers. Soon we're going to be having like cybernetics and
be.
stuff like that. Everybody's gonna
That's
have their
why
own.
I think consoles are going to end up going out, because as computing power increases and as we develop better ways of computing, essentially we're going to get to a point where everybody's going to have AR glasses and or like mixed reality glasses.
Or
So
that
you're gonna
chip in
have
your head.
yeah, yeah,
Doug always
or
talking about.
Neuralink or whatever, where all your digital interfacing is going to be, you know, in the world with you, and then you basically flip a button and okay, you're in a different virtual world now. So it's going to be a mix of VR and AR, where you know AR is going to be all your daily tasks and your notifications and your social media and your work email and all that, and then you've got your VR, which is going to be your games and it's going to be your everything else. And I think that's kind of a interesting thing too, because in a lot of you know shows and even anime and whatnot, they've got typically when there's people stuck in like a simulated universe or reality or whatever, or they're stuck in a game or something, like usually when they get out of it, they're all frail and weak and malnourished and whatever.
Yeah,
But I feel like if we genuinely were um, you know, in that kind of state where we had like a brain chip and we could go to a virtual reality whenever we want and play a game, technically we would still be physically active, or at least our brain would still perceive us as being physically active, so we would still have a lot of the same sort of thing happening. Um, because there's a lot to say about even just your mentality, even just your mindset and like what you are, you know, thinking about and everything, how much that influences your, you know, workouts and everything else.
yeah.
So I mean I feel like we wouldn't necessarily be screwed that way. We would still obviously need nutrition and to eat and stuff, but um you
And you
know,
gotta come out sometime too.
I'm sure that'll get yeah, exactly. You wouldn't stay in forever. And you wouldn't have to stay in forever because you've got the AR, you know, everything else. So you just go back out of the virtual reality when you're done experiencing that, and then you AR everything else. Plus, who knows? But well, you could maybe theoretically, what if you just had like a virtual overlay across reality where, you know, that building, the building that I work in now looks like a tavern or something, right?
Augmented
Yeah,
reality.
it's augmented. Yep. So rather than just saying, okay, I'm getting my notifications and emails on my, you know, in front of my face, I'm also seeing the world differently than everybody else. So it's not a
That's what
virtual
the
reality, it's just augmented.
Apple, whatever they are, does.
Yeah.
Can augment your
Yep.
reality. Like I've seen people that put like TV screens in front of their toilets. It's
Yep,
just like
I've seen
there's a
that too.
screen in their toilets and stuff.
Which
It looks
is
cool, but you look like an idiot wearing this stuff, honestly.
and that
There's
really is like
people
the
walk around
setback,
in
right?
public with those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the setback is that okay, the thing is $3,000. It's like it's like the same price
$3,500.
as a cheap used car,
Yeah.
and then it's also um, clunky to wear. It doesn't look great,
Yeah.
and it's gonna make your head tired after a while. Like those are really the setbacks. But I mean, come on, it's only gonna be a few years
I mean,
before.
as soon as
Yeah,
they get to
as I
like the
said, technology's
visor,
gonna get
like
better, just like simulation theory. You know, technology's gonna keep improving.
in Star Trek, that fucking visor that guy wears.
Yeah,
Jordy,
You already, yeah.
and
Gets
freaking
to that point, and you're like, all right.
years ago, MIT, I'm pretty sure it was MIT, they patented um, a like AR contacts or like
they
so
have those for our Google, our Samsung has those right now. They have just patented new AR
yeah
contacts.
yeah
Or you can just go the path of Elon Musk and just put
yeah
a
just
microchip in
put
your
a
head.
chip in your brain.
Yep.
But then you've got all sorts of I mean
Yeah,
that's
but
the
you don't want
thing,
to do
like we're always
you don't want to do the
tiptoeing.
first generation of that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
no.
no.
I'll wait
'Cause,
till fucking version
Like
10
give them
comes
yeah,
out.
away, you
the
know.
pioneers
Version
are always
10 is like, all
gonna
right.
yeah, there's always gonna be something that gets messed
But
up.
then again,
Yeah.
if you don't get the first generation, it is actually like really enhancing. What if you have like
Yeah,
perfect recall of everything that you've done in the last since you got the chip, and you can dial like I don't know, go online wherever you're at, or
could you
have maps
imagine
in your head all the
freaking
time.
dude, that's gonna change like the arguments that you have with people like are gonna be so nuts, and it's like, no, at exactly this time and this day and this second I said this, and I remember because I got a chip in my brain.
And then you can send it to
And
like
they're
the
like-
TV screen. Like, look, we'll watch it.
Could you imagine, yeah, if you got into an argument with somebody and then you went your separate ways, and then you like send them a video clip of you of you saying the thing you said like in the past, to be like, yeah, this is what my brain captured, like,
Yep.
all those days ago. Oh my god, man. Just
Crime would go down. Just be
They
like,
said
I got a
that,
scan warrant.
Yeah.
Warrant for your
oh,
fucking
dude.
Oh
head.
Yeah.
yeah, if
I
you
can
get like
see what you
attacked, you
see.
call the police instantly or something like that.
Yeah.
Or have
What do you how do you protect like products and copyright and all that stuff? Because at that point, if you watch a movie once, you've watched them. You've
you
watched
watch
the
whatever
movie.
you want.
You can watch it whenever you want. You don't have to
Replay.
watch
You
it
watch it whenever
again.
you want. You'll never forget it. So
You don't have to pay it. You don't have to. There's probably no reason to watch it ever again because you've already watched it and you don't have to experience it again.
yeah, you'll never forget it.
Like, because most people, they'll watch a movie and they'll be like, oh man, that movie was so good. And they want to have the nostalgia of like watching it. But there's no
What if you
nostalgia
can, like,
if you remember
erase
so.
it
Or you
exactly.
watch
in
it
your
again, you
mind?
notice things this time you didn't notice last time. You're like, oh yeah, I didn't see that last time, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes
like-
a lot more sense now.
That
It's
is
like
another idea.
renew watching Star Wars for the first time,
Oh,
and it's just
dude,
erase all your
okay.
memories of Star Wars, and you're watching like, oh,
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
That's
too.
a
You get to
really good
delete
idea.
it and then rewatch it again.
That's a
Like,
really
I
good
don't
idea.
like that movie.
Yeah, because now you're not chasing the nostalgia, but you actually are reliving the experience.
Yeah, you know it's a good movie. You know you're gonna really like it.
Yeah.
You know, so you
there's
delete it
no
and then watch it
harm-
again for the first time. You're like, oh yeah, you get that dopamine rush again. You're like, yeah.
The only thing that I can think of that might be a problem with that is like, what? Okay, how did that movie impact you, like on a personal level? Like, did
Yeah.
you make worldview decisions based on a lesson or something that you learned in that movie? And like, if so, then if you erase that, do those things just like those aspects of you, are they just missing like the final puzzle piece and you're not really sure why, but then you watch the movie and now the puzzle piece is back in? Like, that would be fine. But what if that's not the case and all those things
Or
go along
affects you
with it?
differently this time.
yeah.
Well, because what if all those things, all those lessons and everything that you learned, those things kind of, they go along with it, they go out the door, and then you rewatch the movie, and now you're at the starting point again, and you have to go through life experience to make those lessons again. But I don't
Yeah.
think that would necessarily be the case because it's not like anything else. All the stuff you've been through, you're still going to remember that. Unless it was before your brain chip and you're not remembering,
You probably had like a factory reset where you're like when you had your brain put in.
yeah, because that's
Jump
I think
back to
that's the
it.
question is like, okay, if the brain chip helps me remember everything from the moment I was born, okay, that's one thing. But
I remember my birth. Oh God!
who would want to remember that? I'm sure
I
that's
had nightmares.
oh my god. Could you? Oh, that's another thing, man. Like, what
Would
about
they
all
be
this?
able to put it in a fetus? That'd be crazy.
What about all the
Oh.
stuff? Oh, I'm sure they would do something like that.
Yeah,
I
probably.
mean, when they wait
sometime.
till the baby was born before they put it in, put the chip in his head, or
Yeah,
Yeah, they probably would.
Thank its butt, then put a chip in his head.
yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, it's exactly what they would do.
Then you won't remember being
I mean,
born.
that's
at
the
least,
best
but-
time to do it, probably, because you're
Yeah, because
healing.
you get perfect recall all your life. You know.
Yeah, and also your healing
You'll
is
never be
like
lost.
way better than everybody else. I mean, when
They
you're
can track you at all times.
yeah, because you're.
I would
growing
be
and
like,
developing.
I probably want to be like, it's like, don't give me total recall till I'm like 4. I don't even remember everything before that.
Dude, okay.
I mean, but
here's
if you have the
thing.
chip, you could be instantly. You could have already be access to walking. Well, you wouldn't have the strength for it, but
Yeah.
you know, you would be able to do whatever. You could be able to eat on your own. But I guess you gotta do
But
some.
you'd be
things.
aware of everything. You'd be aware of like your bones being soft and fucking your eyes
But like
being
you could do like on the
crazy.
Matrix where they teach you to do karate when you're like 4, and as
Yeah.
soon as you start
Well,
going
yeah.
to work,
Like I said,
On
once
the
you're
walk.
like, once you're
Oh,
actually you're
dude.
you're like
mobile, yeah.
you're mobile, yeah.
You're mobile and you got a decent.
As soon as
diet,
you start
know?
walking, you can walk right in to get your fucking brain.
Yeah.
But I would hate that to have like be aware of myself like when I'm like fully swaddled and stuff. Be
I
like,
don't know. It's
I
kind
think
of
okay. Here's what I think is probably gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be like 100%, whenever they put the brain chip in you, I don't think it's like flipping the switch and you just have all access to everything. Like I think it's probably going to go in stages as you grow and develop.
Oh,
Like
we're going back to video games. You gotta level up.
yeah, you got to level up, and then you get access to your talent tree, and then you get access
It's
to
like
your
you
other
unlocked
stuff.
walking.
Yeah, you unlocked walking, and then yeah, and I think it's probably gonna have to go like that because the brain can
Your
only do
brain has
so
reached
much when you're
developmental age where you can learn reading. Would you like
yeah.
to learn reading?
Oh my god.
Yes.
And then there's gonna be parental controls, and the parents can just like get on their laptop and like, let's install the karate module, and boom, they just install it. Now the kid is like a black belt in karate.
Gender
Oh my
identity
god.
locked until age 18.
Holy crap! Yeah.
Another good thing is that it take away all like foreign languages. Everybody doesn't be able to understand.
Yeah,
each other.
everybody. I mean, they
Yeah.
already kind of have that. Like, there was a interview. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it with Tucker Carlson and what's his name, Vladimir Putin. And yeah, Vladimir Putin's got this little freaking headset thing with like a
Yeah.
little microphone, and Tucker's talking to him, and it's going into the microphone, and it's going into his ear, and he's
Yeah,
hearing
so
it
they
in
got the
Russian,
got
and
a
then
new Galaxy
But, like,
phones. Instant
How
translation.
Elon Musk was describing it, like you wouldn't even need to talk. The
Yeah.
chips would talk to each other.
yeah,
They would know what you're wanting
That'd be
to
crazy.
say and just talk.
So that means you won't have to do like we don't have to do this anymore. We'd all just sit in one room in the dark and talk to each other. And
yeah. Well, I mean, it would be like airdropping some kind of content to somebody, right? If you have an iPhone, you can airdrop stuff to
It's like, who's
to people,
airdropping me
and you
full-grown
just like,
pizza?
yeah, I know. You're just like chilling in the freaking, chilling in the coffee shop or whatever, and there's the cute girl down,
Yeah.
sitting by the window, and you just airdrop, send her a message.
Airdrop dick pic. It's like,
Yeah,
oh
dick
shit.
There's gonna be all sorts of problems with that, I'm sure, because I'm willing to bet you there's gonna be like whole entire new fetishes and stuff that come up when it comes to that kind of thing.
yeah,
And
kind of new
how you
porn
protect
stuff.
that, like how you're gonna protect people from that, because that's gonna be a whole different level of sexual harassment and just harassment in general. Like you could just ping somebody a billion times over and over again. You're going to drive them insane. And because you're pissed off at them or you're mad that they did something, right?
Yeah,
And like, let's say they can block you or whatever, but that'd be crazy. You're essentially blocking someone's existence from your mind.
yeah. You won't be able to like see them anymore or anything. Like it'll be standing in front of you. Like won't be able to see over there.
Oh, wow.
Glitch
Dude,
person.
well, that just goes that takes things to an extreme, because there's a lot of people that are be like, man, I wish you were never in my life. Well, man,
There
you
can be like
kinda
the
do
opposite.
that.
Like people be like the dark web people stuff,
Yeah,
and you can just have it so your face is glitchy to everybody who fucking sees you, so you're just totally anonymous.
dude.
Or
That's
you can set up like a
maybe it just does that because
like
they couldn't get
do like a
completely
restraining
get rid of
order. They can't get close enough. You give them a headache if they get closer. And
you. Yeah, wow.
Please don't make me have sex.
Okay, but here's the thing, like technologically speaking, this stuff, like I feel like it won't be too terribly long because technology advances so fast that
yeah,
we're capable of this. Okay, but all the crap that we're talking about now, there's no way in hell the government doesn't get involved in that stuff. And so all the red tape, all the legislative discussions, all the congressional hearings and meetings, and that is going to slow down this progress substantially, I feel like. Like it's going to take forever for this stuff to really reach the level that we're talking about. Because the government's just not going to allow it unless it's created and implemented without their knowledge, which also could happen. Like what if it gets to the point where like, hey, you know what, we're gonna have a home birth or whatever, and we're gonna have we have the home birth rather than going to a hospital or something, and we put in the chip right then and there, or maybe you hire the company, you hire the Neuralink people. Yeah, Neuralink has like a black market dealing where like they freaking have people that will come and chip you, and the government never has to know about it.
yeah.
And You
Or if
gotta.
another country starts doing it first, then we're gonna be like, oh, we gotta chip our people now.
Well, I mean, that is the
Yeah.
thing. Like, the U.S.
It'd
develops
be like
most of the
unregistered
technology
guns.
around the world. The U.S. develops most medical technology, most everything around the world. And then because we have so much red tape and crap, we don't get to use it or do anything with it.
Yeah.
And then all the other countries start using it and doing it. That's
Like
probably
stem
going to
cells
happen
and
here,
stuff.
to be honest. Yeah. We're probably going to have a similar situation where, okay, the technology's created, but now we're sitting here legislatively trying to figure everything out and all work out all the red tape and everything. Meanwhile, somebody in freaking Saudi Arabia is like, we'll just do it. Screw it.
That's
You
why
got the money, you got
Elon
the
moved to
technology.
Texas
Yeah.
because he knew Texas was
Oh my
going
God.
to secede from the Union.
This is just the start of Texas seceding, and then Texas is gonna have their own like rules, their own laws.
Texas
and everything.
Instruments are going to take over.
Yeah. Yeah. Elon's gonna become the governor or the president of Texas, and then he's gonna make sure that
We
all
have
the
a bunch of
Neuralink and
cybernetic
everything.
soldiers with chips in their head.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the lost
That's gonna
city
be
of
another thing. If you have a
Atlantis.
chip in your head, you
Oh,
have like
man.
perfect aim with any weapon.
Oh yeah,
That's
you got
crazy.
aimbot.
Oh my
I don't
God.
aim.
That would be.
Yeah. And you're proficient with any weapon. You're like Captain America.
I mean, that's scary because we're still gonna have mentally ill people, and then if mentally ill people get a hold of
Well, the ship can correct a mental
chips is-
illness.
that's a really good idea. I do like, so if you ever listen to Elon Musk talk about Neuralink, like what he wants to do with it and stuff, like he'll talk about, blind people, having problems with their vision. He's like, I want to, we can correct that with Neuralink or, various different things, right?
Yeah.
Mental disorders and whatnot. Like we can adjust those things, we can correct those things or make them better or whatever. And in one sense, it's like, okay, but how much of that is, part of you and like who you are as a person versus something that we actually just want to change? So like, I don't know, it makes me think of like, somebody with Down syndrome, like they are in most cases happy people, right? And that's part of their life, and that's who they are and who they become and how they've developed as a human being. You don't want to take that away. Like you don't want to
Can you imagine
change
being
that.
Down syndrome and getting a chip in your head or something?
Like your mental capacities would be the same as like, somebody that doesn't have.
How different would that? I mean, how would that affect you?
Like, yeah, I mean, how would that could also open up the world to
Be like
them.
that scene in Young.
Yeah, it could give them a lot more opportunity.
It's like
but then they'd be like,
telling a child that Santa Claus doesn't exist now. Like
Yeah,
that's
I mean-
Spoiler. Any kids listen?
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't exist. I'm just saying that some parents tell their kids that, and they're terrible human beings. Screw them.
but most
No,
they seem to be really smiling, happy people, and then you give them that, and they're like, oh, I got
Yeah.
all this stuff I got to worry about now.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Oh
don't
no,
wanna do
I'm
this.
aware of stuff. You gave me awareness of shit, and I don't
It's
like it.
Like when Eve bit into the apple, and
Yes.
Yeah.
all
Right.
is sin now.
It's like, great, now I'm aware of these things that, yeah.
Yes.
You just
Great,
think
now
of-
I got to pay a
from
mortgage.
I'm aware of the concept
being
of time
super happy
now.
to be super depressed. You're like, oh, what
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah.
That's like giving the dogs the concept of time and their own
Oh, giving dogs
mortality.
chips. Oh, that'd be terrible.
Oh, and then
Just
we
give
put
them
it
the
in
ability to
pets.
talk.
Yeah, and then what if we put it
Silly
into
dogs.
pets too, and then the pets freaking like they can telepathically communicate with us, and oh my god, what if it
Oh
makes
my God.
but it makes their brain development and everything more sophisticated, so now they're basically little people,
Little kids.
little
Like-
kids.
They're
Dude.
toddlers.
Oh my god,
You have to give them rights and stuff. And,
wow.
Dogs already have rights.
they should, but they don't. I mean, you
I
can
mean, they have-
euthanize a dog. And
But it's
nobody
just
will say
I can
anything.
just like see Sure already. It's like,
Yeah,
Dad, I
but
want to
in
get out
some
of my
places,
cage. I want some snacks.
in some places you can euthanize people, so it's
Dad, there's
like,
somebody in the front yard. I don't like them.
Yeah, isn't that a big thing in Sweden? They got like suicide booths, or you can
Yeah.
just go in there.
which that blows my mind. Like I don't think that should be-
Futurama already exists in Sweden.
I think so.
I think it is Sweden or Switzerland. I always get those two mixed up. But yeah, they've got like those pods. It's like a suicide pod. And I think that's just terrible because you're basically like people that have suicidal ideation or, depression or whatever, you're giving them a way to, enact those things. Like, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
that's I think
And all
that's
they need
terrible.
is a chip in their
Maybe
brain.
look that up, Tori, before we make Switzerland or Sweden look bad.
Yeah, we don't want
I
either
am
of
a
them to look
Sweden.
bad.
I is going to take the suicide booth.
Yep.
So long. This is my way out.
No. Yeah, no, we're not throwing any shade at those countries. It's don't come after
Right.
us. Not that you
Hey,
would.
if you're thinking of suicide, go for the fucking chip. See if it helps. You're going
I
to
think
fucking
it
die
would. Yeah, the
anyways.
chip, the chip is going to be a better option for you if,
Yeah.
if it can help your.
Even if it fucks up and kills you, you're wanting that anyway. So
Yeah. So, I mean, if you could use it to manage things better, I think that would be better than completely taking it away. Because even negative things like depression, I mean,
maker
that
of the suicide pod plans to launch in Switzerland.
Switzerland.
It is Switzerland.
It is
Yep.
Switzerland.
Yeah,
That is from the
Assisted
BBC.
suicide probe approved for use in Switzerland.
that's
So
crazy.
it's Switzerland, not Sweden. So
But then my
Is there a
problem
change in
with
the
that,
accent? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. My problem with that is like people are gonna say, yeah, but they should have the freedom to make their own choice because it's whatever, it's their body and their decision and all that stuff. But I'm
I mean, if
like,
they're in pain, that's something. But if it's just depression, I think they should.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one thing if you're literally on your deathbed and you're just being kept alive by machines or whatever, then sure.
Yeah, and all,
Like that's
just taking a bunch of pills all the time. And that's the only
yeah,
way
then
you
make
can't
your
get around
decision. But
anymore.
if you are genuine, or if you're genuinely mentally ill, or you have some, issues mentally like that, then we shouldn't be like going
Assisting
along
that.
with it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
shouldn't be assisting you. Like it's our job as friends and family of those people to support them and help them and help them navigate through those difficult times, not to just give them a way out. Like that's terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, there are uses for it. You gotta agree with that, but I mean, there should be other things that come first before you use that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Like
Yeah,
yeah, I
like the
mean,
brain chip.
right. Not saying that it should be the technology cannot be used for something, but yeah, there's definitely other routes and other possibilities that should be explored first, because that would be the final, the final choice. You can't
Yeah.
try anything
Can't
else
come
after
back from that.
So
It's a simulation. You only get one life. So
yeah, unless we
No
found out a way to
mushrooms.
get multiple lives.
What if you get rebooted?
What if we found a power up hidden, like an
Tarnation,
Easter
baby.
egg somewhere in the world that gives you an extra life, like a floating pixelated heart? Like, could you imagine? We're like, oh my god,
That'd be weird. It's like all the weird anomalies are just
Oh,
Easter eggs put in by
What
the
if-
developers.
what if we've already found it, but the person who found it, they touched the heart, and then they got the extra life, and it went away, and now they can't share it with the world. But they'll never know that they got an
Jesus?
extra life. He found it. Jesus is the one who found it. He knew where it was because he's God. So yeah, yeah. Holy crap, dude, that's funny.
all right. So what's
we're-
everybody's opinion on simulation theory? Is there like I give it out 1 out of 10 out of probability?
It can't be disproven.
yeah,
Can't be disproven. I'd say it's a good possibility.
I think it
So
also
maybe about an
it-
8.
Yeah, I think
I
it
like
also
the-
can't be proven either. So it's one. Of
I
those
also
things.
like to feel like there is like maybe a little bit of fate or an algorithm, so you can actually
Yeah, I think that's a good.
kind of.
So there's
Plan
somebody
out your life a
controlling the
little bit.
simulation?
Or thinking
Yeah.
that there's a reason behind.
I just like the idea of that.
things. Yeah, like I
Like
like
I believe
that
in the
too.
simulation more than I believe in like religion.
So you believe in like a universal consciousness or simulational conscience?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
there seems to be more evidence of it,
I think
and
that,
all the smart people think about it. So it's just like maybe.
yeah, and
And it's like that one thing. It's like, have you ever seen your neighbors unload groceries?
I mean, for people that have like,
Well, they're not NPCs if you've seen
Right.
them, but if you haven't, they're NPCs.
well, that's why we're
people
all
are NPCs.
technically
You
we're.
just don't even notice.
I think we're all
Yeah.
NPCs. I think
We're all Sims, and somebody's playing The Sims.
exactly, yeah. We're all Sims playing playing Sims.
And the aliens are the game master.
Yep.
Yes, come
Coming
down
down to check on
sometimes.
everything.
Yes.
That's why their spaceships are changed with the times.
In my opinion, I think it's a 10.
They
out of
try to be all
probability.
big
I
and
don't
scary
know.
and godlike in the
You think it's a
beginning,
10, really?
and then they
Yeah,
got
I
slow
don't
and
see
slow and
how
slow till tiny little pills.
I
there's
mean, the
too
multiple
many
dimensions is kind of like a giveaway to me.
there's too many design related arguments that can be made about the universe that just don't make any sense. Like when we think of any other sort of like cohesive system or anything like that, like it's always been created. Like it's always been designed. It's always been like if you found a writing somewhere, that is the sign of intelligence.
Yeah.
If you find intelligence somewhere, that's the sign of intelligence. You know, intelligence comes from intelligence. Like we know this. And design comes from, you know, designers. And I feel like there's just too much pointing in the idea that there is a cohesiveness to the universe, like physical laws and everything to the universe that just work and just make sense. And the fact that it just came out of chance, out of nothing, like
Yeah, look at Earth.
whatever,
It's
that doesn't
exactly where it's supposed to be and to do life and be.
the fine tuning of the universe and everything, like it just doesn't make any sense to me that the parameters and the dials could have been what they are today. There's even the origin of life coming from chemicals to, you know,
Yeah.
the start
They
of
still can't
simple
replicate
organisms.
that.
You can't replicate that because chemicals are not oriented towards life. There's never been showing of chemicals that naturally move towards life. Like that doesn't happen. So something needs to happen. Something needs to be programmed or coded into the system to make.
Yeah.
And so I just think there's too many examples of things like that. I feel like if it's not a simulation, something else. It's got to be something along those lines. We might not have all the answers. We might not know everything.
I wonder if like the person or thing or whatever it is that runs the simulation, the entity that runs the simulation is proud of us because his simulation is starting to run their own simulations.
I would be proud of my simulation if it started running its own simulation.
Yeah, we're starting to run our own simulations. We're making
feel
video
like-
games. We're making worlds and stuff.
At that point, you're in Endgame, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh no, we're in Endgame, guys.
You've reached Endgame, and now you're going to start making your own things, and then something's going to happen, and the server's going to get wiped, and
It's
like
they're going to
that.
start a
It's
new
like
Has
game.
become a-
This all goes back to
repopulate the
Rick
Earth.
and Morty. Rick and Morty covers all this stuff. They have
Yeah.
the simulation, then they have the universe inside the universe inside the universe.
Yep.
We're all inside of a car battery, powering it somehow.
Yeah. Well, then that's the question: is like, how many universes down have we gone so far? You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? And you can't really know. And maybe it is the first one. Maybe it's not. You know, we don't know.
But yeah, as more you talk, more toward 10 I'm going to because
Yeah.
there's just too many things that are perfect, like the Earth being exactly the right spot for life to see. Life to come out of chemicals, like you said, you know,
Yep.
all the other things like the multiple dimensions. I mean, that just seems like a waste of resources to me. Why would you do that unless you're simulating a bunch of, you know, scenarios and you wanted to find out the perfect scenario or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Just and then like the observational thing that you were talking about earlier, where
Oh yeah, that. Oh,
Yeah,
you
God.
find a
part of it.
particle.
That just
it's
sells
just-
it for me. Like how
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, that's programming right there.
that's
I mean,
programming.
You
That-
got memory. You got to give it a definition
and the
before you can
crazy
use that
thing
memory.
is that we were doing that in our own simulations before we knew that that was an actual feature of reality. So like, that's crazy. Like that's good. That's good evidence for me.
So you think it's like
anyways,
all like processed like on like what's that one game? Event Horizon?
yeah. So it like
Where like it's only what's in camera view is being processed right now.
yeah,
Everything behind camera view is not.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
So if you're not observing it, it's not being processed.
Yep.
So particles don't actually process themselves unless they're being
They
observed.
exist, but they're not like functioning as light, I guess. So we
Yeah.
don't
yeah,
see it.
they're just
Yeah.
particles until you give them a definition, and they become
Yeah.
like
Yep.
a specialized particle, like a Higgs boson particle or a nanite or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. So.
How dare you not be a physicist?
I also think it's like super weird that like how leaps and bounds humans are from everything else
Yeah.
We could
Fight the
ancient alien
intelligence.
theory with that, but
Well, and you
Yeah, it's just
you
like,
do get into that whole
well, yeah.
idea of
because
like
there's tons of different primates that were human-like, and we're the only ones
Yeah.
that came out of that. This is kind of weird, but
yeah.
Yeah.
all right,
Then we
all right, I
have
think we're
like
getting.
all
Let's
this, like,
start wrapping it
we're
up.
coming up on an hour.
Yeah, we're gonna talk forever. We keep doing that. So
Yeah, we definitely could do a part 2 of this episode probably.
we could do a podcast,
But
guys.
wow, we could start a podcast talking about this.
well, nobody will listen, but
Hey, it is what it is. Maybe
Hey,
one day.
whatever, it's fun.
Yeah.
all right, Betsy, you go first. What are you playing? What are you watching?
Lately, I've still mostly been playing Pal World with the girlfriend, and we've been playing that. It's been fun. And then we've got Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is really good. It's like Vampire Survivors. Have you guys ever played that? It's one of those what do they call it? The genre, I think, Bullet Heaven.
You brought me some good games.
Yeah, so you essentially you're walking around, right? You've got waves and waves of enemies that come at you, and then you shoot them and kill them, and then you pick up the little points to level up, and then you level up and you get to pick an upgrade, and that's essentially how it goes. That's the game loop. And it gets progressively harder and harder, and then you try to accomplish missions. This one's fun because it added a little extra layer of interaction where you're trying to mine certain resources out of like these rocks to get gold and money so you can buy better stuff as you progress.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really fun. It's one of those games where if you just want something to settle your brain or to make satisfy your ADHD or whatever, or just spend some time, like that's a good game to play. And it's like $9, so it's not that bad.
I'll check that out.
Yep. So that's what I've been playing mostly.
Been watching anything?
No, not really. Haven't actually been watching something. I'm hoping you guys can give me something to watch.
Nothing new for me.
You not playing anything?
Huh? No, I was talking about something to watch.
Yeah. What have you been playing lately?
Still Division.
You were breaking up there. I didn't catch it.
Still playing Division 2.
Gotcha. Division 2. Has it held up? Do you think it holds up all these years later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I always liked the wanted system thingy. That was fun. And they just keep on refreshing it every fucking season.
Did they make a Division 3, or is there just a game that they were essentially calling the Division 3? I can't remember.
They're just a game there. They're too busy on the skull and bone.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. All right, Mike, what about you?
Excited for it.
I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 like I usually do.
Yeah.
Got some new jobs, so happy with that. And then been watching. I rewatched Shield Hero, which is a really good anime, and started watching season 3. Shield Hero he just gets mess with him so much. It's just
I watched
crazy
season
element.
1. Season 1 is really good, but then I quit paying
Season
for
2's good
Crunchyroll.
too.
So yeah,
season 3 is good. But yeah, I like Shield Hero. It's a good one.
yeah.
I've been watching this other one called Soul Leveling. That's pretty good anime too. It's on
I
Crunchyroll.
heard about that one. I heard that one was really popular or something. Like it's really good.
Yeah, it's like number 1 on Crunchyroll right now. So,
Huh. Is
But
that another
they
one of
did,
those games where they're in like a video game world or something?
So what happened is that they're in this world, and these portals open up, and creatures come out of it, and they can only be killed by hunters.
Okay.
And so when the portals open up, people awaken as hunters, and they get powers. So these creatures can't be killed by like modern weaponry, like guns and stuff like that, but they can be killed by hunters. So
Okay.
this guy, he's a low-level hunter, and he goes through a secret dungeon, and he's the only survivor. He actually dies in it at the very end, but right before he dies, he gets they ask him if he wants to be a player, so the thing about hunters is that once they get awoken, they're always that level. They always have those powers. They
I
can't strengthen
see.
them or do anything else. But he can actually level up. So he's getting stronger, and that's the whole anime is him getting stronger and becoming like badass the whole time. So
Wow.
Like every other.
Yeah.
Pretty
Huh. Okay.
so it's like they're in a video game, but it's not like they're in a video game.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that sounds cool. All right.
The
Yeah.
animation's really good, and the storyline's pretty good. So
Sweet.
Watching The Office, and I also been watching has.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
I don't care. Ugh.
You're watching The Office, and what else?
Super fans episodes.
Oh,
There's
gotcha.
different than the regular episode. They have outtakes, or not the outtakes, but stuff they didn't put in.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And
That's cool.
Has Been Hotel on Prime.
Oh yeah, I've seen the like advertisements for that when I turn on my TV
Yep.
because my TV's yeah.
The,
Huh.
that's what you sound like.
That's what I sound like?
Yes.
For that last few minutes, that's how you.
What the heck? Since when? Okay. Weird.
Almost a good thing we're ending the show.
Yep. All right. Man, I wish we had a sign out or something.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we
have to come
really
up
need
with
to get an
Yeah, I
outro.
really did outro.
Yeah. All right.
I guess
See you
we
guys.
should work on that.
Yeah. All right. Maybe next time we'll have an outro. Tune back into next time to see if we have an outro. Okay.
Yeah, we should have a new episode next week sometime.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Outro.
Maybe we'll have outro then. Who knows?
Okay. We're done.
We done?